So what's happening, everybody? I got to start this off, and I usually don't like to start off talks aggressive, but Matthew just moments ago was talking about the open micers, and then he cracks that joke about the Joe Part O. Come on, man, come on. But anyways, other than that, I am so stoked to be here. Joe is someone that's really a big influence in my podcasting, and I've said it before on one of my lives. I do lives quite a bit on Facebook, and Joe is one of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life. And I just want to say thank you to him for putting on this spectacular event and allowing me to be a part of it. So with that, in case you haven't noticed yet, with the big name in the middle of the screen, my name is Larry Roberts. I am the host of the Readily Random podcast and the owner of Readily Random Media. And what I do is I have my podcast where I have a weekly event, a weekly guest. And then I also do Facebook Lives every night. And although this isn't a talk about going live on Facebook, I can't recommend it enough. It is such a powerful tool. Now, something that affects each and every one of us, and in all honesty, I'm feeling it right this second, is comparanoia. And we're going to talk about exactly what that is, how it affects us, how we can deal with it, and then how to come out on the other side even better than before. But before we do that, I have to do my civic duty. I just have to. So we have to talk about this coronavirus or the COVID-19. And, everybody already knows, but I don't think we can emphasize it enough. The 5, do the 5 stay alive, help stop coronavirus. So, number 1, wash your hands. This is pretty much common sense. And a lot of the whole COVID thing is common sense. Your elbow, cough into it, unless you're big like me, and then you kind of gotta use your wrist, but whatever, make the effort. Your face, don't touch it. Feet, now this was done originally, this slide was put together back when it first started to hit, and the 5 first hit. So it's only it says to stay 3 feet apart, but stay as far apart as you can. I mean, my wife and I, we don't even sleep in the same room. Now, we've been married 20 years, so who does sleep in the same room after 20 years? But we'll talk about that later. So if you feel sick, man, just stay at home. Matter of fact, just stay at home anyways and enjoy this awesome virtual podcast conference that we're experiencing right now. Now, in an effort to help fight the COVID virus, Joe has set up a donation page. So if you haven't already and you feel inclined to do so, please head out to indypodcon.com/CDC and make a donation. Last I saw, I think we were at $220. And, we'd like to see that thing grow a little bit. So go on over there. It's a totally secure donation page that's established on Facebook. So it's secure. Go over there, give what you can, and help make a difference. So with that, let's make a difference in regards to comparanoia. So I named this Overcoming Post-Event Comparanoia because for me personally, that's when it hits the most. Now, it doesn't have to be a big event. It could be a small local gathering. It could be a small local business meetup. It could even be a small local podcast meetup, which we have a great one here in Dallas. And more often than not, I walk out of these events feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I'm not quite doing what I need to be doing to make the impact that I want to make, or to build my podcast to the level that I want to build my podcast. Then I start questioning myself. And we're gonna go into depth about that during this presentation. And we're going to look at some ways that we can address it. Well, first off, let's identify it. We're going to identify it and then address it together. So let's go on. Now, you might ask, do you suffer from comparanoia? And I think I've already answered this question for the majority of the viewers. I believe we all suffer from it at one point in time. But first off, let's talk about what. It's like the 2 Utes, Comparanoia may not be a word that you're familiar with, but it's most likely a feeling that you can relate to. And it's just, even if you've played sports, if you've participated in any group activity whatsoever, you can probably relate to comparanoia. Now, it often strikes directly after coming in contact with a large group of your peers, as I just mentioned. And a lot of times it can be triggered when you're around others that are going through a lot of self promotion. Now, we all know that when we go to the podcast conferences, one of the things that we hear the most is how many downloads do you get? How many downloads did you get last month? How many downloads did that episode get you? Or we hear, how many sponsors do you have? How's your Patreon doing? Are you earning anything? Are you a part-time podcaster? Or are you doing it as a profession? There's always these comparisons that are going on during all of these events, and we all fall prey to it from time to time. Now you're going, Larry, what kind of word is comparanoia? Well, in a tribute to my good friend Eric Hunley, it's a portmanteau. And what that is, a portmanteau is where you take a piece of one word and a piece of another word and you smash them together and you come out with an all new word. Now, in this instance, we've come out with the comp from compare and the aranoia from paranoia. And if we bring those two together, bing, bang, boom, we have comparanoia. Now, exactly what is it? Let's get into a more scientific description, if you will. It's not really all that scientific, but we're going to call it that. So comparanoia is the desire to be like or unlike others. Well, that sounds like, what am I? I'm just being. If I'm not like them, then I must be unlike them, or vice versa. Well, if you're comparing yourself to someone that's in a position that you want to be in, then that's an aspect of comparanoia. Or if you see someone in a position that you want, but you don't want to be like them, well, once again, it's comparanoia. So it can strike us from both sides. It can come at us from every angle. And we don't really know when that angle is going to hit. Another definition for the word is the unresourceful beliefs, thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and or actions that come as a consequence of an incident or as a result of not meeting or exceeding a goal, a standard, a benchmark for clarification, I did not cuss, or expectations. Additionally, it can also cause you to believe that you are unique. And in some instances, that's great. Knowing that we're unique or believing that we're unique, that's spectacular. And it's something that we can all enjoy. However, in other instances, when we don't quite meet up to the expectations of our peers or what you would expect of the expectations of our peers, then we can kind of feel unique, which at the same time can leave us lonely, can leave us stranded, can leave us asking, what are we doing and why are we doing it? Now, something I need to clarify is that comparanoia, although you've heard the term more than once, I'm sure already, there's a couple of folks out there that are using the term, but this particular definition of the word is more than just a word. It's a system. And the system was researched and developed by my partner, David DiGiorgio. And he actually built this as the foundation of his TEDx talk. So he also holds the trademark or the copyright for the word. I've actually seen the paper. It's kind of cool. I didn't know you could copyright a word, but I guess you can. So anyways, this is all part of his signature process to uncover, unravel, and unleash powerful people, messages, stories, movements, and most of all, legacies. So there's somebody's ugly mug that's saying the problem isn't a fear of failure. I'm not afraid to fail. It's not going to be the first time. It's not going to be the last time. I failed many, many times in many, many endeavors. So I know what it feels like to fail. I don't like failing. It's not something that I strive to do, but it happens. And it happens often, more often than I want to admit. We also know it's not a lack of skills. As podcasters, we've done our research. We've watched our videos. We've even maybe bought our courses. There's a variety of different ways that we can go about to acquire our skills. And odds are you've done that. So you're confident in your skills. You're not afraid to fail. And hopefully you have the confidence. You know, as I sat here this morning waiting my turn, I was running into the studio and I was setting lighting. My wife did my makeup. I put a pillowcase on my light for a diffuser because I didn't have a diffuser in the house. I mean, I've been running wild all morning long, just getting ready for this talk. But the bottom line is I showed up. I'm here. So that shows that I had the confidence to sit in this chair and to look you straight in the camera and have this conversation. So the problem isn't a fear of failure or a lack of skills or a lack of confidence. The problem is comparanoia. So let's take a closer look at the cycle of comparanoia. So as we mentioned before, it probably starts with an experience. Although the presentation is specifically about fighting that feeling after a big conference or an event, it can really happen at any social event. And I've gone over that. Now, once we have this experience, we tend to start establishing these negative beliefs about what we're doing and how we're doing it. Now, of course, they're going to vary from person to person, and they're neither good nor bad. They're simply your beliefs. Now, our beliefs tend to lead to negative thoughts. And these thoughts and ideas or opinions of ourselves, they're produced by dwelling on our beliefs. And they can also occur just suddenly. You might be going along your business, just enjoying everything, thinking you're doing everything right. And then all of a sudden, it gets you, and you have a change of state, a change of thought process. Your mentality changes completely, and you don't know why. Next, that leads us to negative feelings. Thoughts lead to feelings, and feelings can lead to the dark side. Many of these negative feelings are a path to either depression or even anxiety. Now, I know for me, most of the time at this stage of my life, it all leads to anxiety. I get very, very anxious, and it might have something to do with my favorite tasty beverage, Monster. And I'm not really shaking that bad. I was just playing. But anyways, yes, negative feelings. It will lead you to negative feelings. And those negative feelings can take us to the very next level, which is negative behaviors. And my wife will tell you that my negative behaviors, they manifest themselves in a variety of different ways, but they always start out with Pink Floyd. I don't know why. They always start out with. So my wife says, "What are you listening to?" And she sees me over there, maybe a little tear running down the cheek. She goes, "If you're listening to Pink Floyd, I'm going to slap you." Not that I condone violence, but sometimes, you got to get me out of the mode. So negative, your feelings can lead to drastic behaviors motivated by the comparanoia that's intensifying those feelings. And then that can lead to negative actions. And from a podcasting perspective, those actions can be a variety of different things. We can wreck our podcast, building on the last presentation there. We can quit our podcast. We can self-sabotage by cutting corners, by saying, "Oh, I don't need to edit this. It's fine. Nobody cares about that hiss in the background," or all those, And then you publish an episode that obviously isn't going to be up to your normal standards. That's just some examples of negative actions that can take place when you're dealing with comparanoia. So now continuing on with the comparanoia cycle, comparanoia shows up the same across whoever you are. You can be old, you can be young, you can be middle-aged like myself. Races doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, different cultures, it doesn't matter. Comparanoia shows up. Now, almost as a demonstration of our universal equality, comparanoia isn't picky on who it affects or even what part of the world it affects. And it can manifest itself so differently from person to person. But as podcasters, we all know that at some point we've been affected by it. Now, it also shows up regardless of your podcasting experience. You can be a Dave Jackson, or you can be a Larry Roberts, or you can be a Jane Doe that's just starting out. It doesn't matter. And it can creep up on you. Boy, that was a good pause, wasn't it? Let's read that real quick and pause. There may be some young podcasting pup out there that just crushes your numbers. And you've been in the game since, 2004, 2005? You think you're the cat daddy and you get some young pup like me coming in there and my numbers are just killing it. That's not true. That's not true at all. But anyways, it can happen. It doesn't matter. It goes both ways. So now it doesn't always lead to extreme action. There are many times that we can just sit here and wallow You ever hear about wallowing in self-pity? Oh, he just loves to wallow. He's got that gray cloud over his head all the time, and he just loves it, and this is where we stay. I don't like staying there, but occasionally it happens. But we really need to be able to deal with it in order to move on. One of the worst threats we face when dealing with comparanoia is the overwhelming desire to eliminate our unique qualities. I think I'm a fairly unique cat, always have been, never really followed the norm. And that's just how I am. But it leads to a lot of comparanoia. I mean, I can remember growing up many, many instances, even in middle school, where I would look at somebody else and go, I want to be like them. Prime example. Y'all remember the Jordache craze back in the mid 80s? I do. You know why? Because all the cool kids had Jordache jeans on. So I said, Grandma, buy me some Jordache jeans. Guess what she did? She bought me some. Grandma was awesome. Loved her. Still love her, even though she's gone. Problem is, Grandma bought me girls' Jordaches. They had purple stitching. And I was too stupid to know the difference between the two. But I was trying to get away from my uniqueness, right? And fit in with the crowd. And I go up to school with these Jordache jeans on and my purple stitching. And well, let's just say it was a rough day for Larry at the schoolyard. So you risk losing the very thing that makes you unique. You lose your sense of self. You lose your sense of you. So we know the problem is comparanoia, but the solution is celebration. And hopefully that's fitting on the screen. It's not fitting on my screen for some reason with the screen share, but the word we can't see all of is celebration. So that is what's getting cut off there, I believe. Sorry about that. I didn't realize it was going to cut that off. So no worries. We know it's all about celebration. So let's celebrate the fact that we even know what it is. So let's take a closer look at the celebration cycle. It starts the exact same way. It starts with an experience. And again, it can be any experience. You can even be watching television. Maybe you see a talent that's up there on America's Got Talent. Maybe they have a podcaster on AGT. I doubt it. Kind of hard to demonstrate that on stage, but I would love for Howie to be watching me do my podcast. Love Howie. But anyhow, it starts with an experience. Next thing, that leads to positive beliefs. While changing our beliefs takes more than just, oh, I hope they change. With a celebratory mindset, you can make the transition. So look at somebody that's in a position where you want to be and celebrate the fact that you're on that path, that you're headed that direction. Next, that leads to positive thoughts. Have you ever tried to celebrate anything and have negative thoughts at the same time? Yeah, I don't even think that works, but you can try it if you want and test the theory and get back to me. Let me know. Drop me a line. This leads to positive feelings, and positive thoughts are little seeds for growing positive feelings. While a thought may be fleeting, feelings can be maintained for much, much longer. These feelings lead to behaviors, and I love a change in behaviors. I don't listen to Pink Floyd when I'm celebrating. What do I listen to when I'm celebrating? I don't know, but something with a crazy beat and some great lyrics, right? Positive feelings will inevitably lead to positive behaviors, which can be a long-term counter to comparanoia. These positive actions can lead to uplifting and spectacular actions that will in turn lead to your podcasting success. Maybe you hire a podcasting coach. Maybe you read a new book on podcasting. Maybe you check out one of those courses on Udemy. Maybe. But what you're doing is you're promoting a progression of your talents in the podcasting space. So who will you choose to be? A victim of comparanoia? You're sitting in your studio and you're kicking rocks and just wishing you were somebody else and you don't like who you are? Or are you going to be the cat daddy and celebrate being you, being yourself, being original, having your podcast on your terms and doing it your way? As long as it's the right way, right? Got to have a balance. Got to have a balance. Let's take a look at the celebration cycle. You choose the who, what, when, where, and how you celebrate. You choose who you'll celebrate your uniqueness with. You choose what you will celebrate about your uniqueness. You will choose who will celebrate. Never mind. I think you get the idea, but whatever you do, just embrace it. Take action. 1, 2, 3, and celebrate. Don't let the fear that comparanoia brings with it keep you from taking action. Take decisive, deliberate action in everything you do. Own it. Celebrate it. It's yours. Don't settle. I started celebrating too soon. Don't settle for celebrating in anonymity. Take every opportunity you can to share your celebrations with your tribe or your fans or your Facebook group. Not only does this allow you to publicly be you, it's unmatched for grabbing online attention. Use the hashtag #ICelebrate when you celebrate your successes right now. Celebrate with everyone that's in the I Celebrate movement, and celebrate with others that when confronted, they kicked the tail of their comparanoia and they came out on top. So once again, my name is Larry Roberts. That is my presentation. You can find more of me at readilyrandom.com. I'm also on Facebook, or you could drop me an email, Larry@readilyrandom. And again, David DiGiorgio came up with this concept, came up with this system, and you can find all about it on comparanoia.com.
Larry. That was incredible. Can you see all the comments that have been coming through?
I can't.
Yeah, I didn't think so because it's just been rolling, man. It's been rolling. That's so awesome.
Good. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, and this also topic. One of the questions was, are the slides available for download?
I will make them available. How's that?
Yes, do that. Drop that in the chat, so that we can get people to get those slides, because they looked awesome. Congratulations, those are phenomenal looking slides.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Are there any questions about comparanoia, or any questions about me, or someone ask me a question, please?
Larry, are you out of time?
I think I am out of time.
I think you are out of time.